So welcome. Today we're going to go through 4 steps to successfully land more job interviews, no matter where you are. If you are watching through YouTube, your comments that you put through, I will be able to see in the chat. So please feel free to write them in inside. If you're in the Zoom setting, you're welcome to use the chat box there as well. So I think we've got everything all set up, but if you run into any tech issues or anything like that, please just let me know because I'm a real person and I'm here. So just let me know whatever you're experiencing. Okay, so let's get into it. Generally, I do just want to say a really important thank you for being here. I know that your time is precious. You could easily be doing way different things than this morning, but I'm really glad that you've shown up and that you're doing something to really support yourself in this job search. Okay. You might think you heard and seen it all when it comes to job interviews, job searching. You've likely read a ton of articles online already. Totally understand. I have been there myself as well, but I can guarantee you that today there are just different kinds of tips and things that are going to help you really stand out when it comes to your job search and get you actually in front of managers so that you can tell them why you're so spectacularly awesome. Okay, so this is different. It's not like a blog article that you're going to read where it's just like, do this little thing. Like, we're going to go a bit deeper than that because that's actually typically what people need at this stage. Okay? And finally, there is nothing for sale at the end of this. So don't worry if you're like worried that you got to hang on for a pitch at the end. That is not the case at all. It is strictly an educational training meant to help you take your next best step so that you can be time efficient, so you can be purposeful, so you can start landing those interviews that you want, move to a job that's more exciting and more fulfilling for you. Okay. So in this presentation, you're going to discover the 4 steps that make it easier to land job interviews, why your resume isn't quite getting in front of hiring managers, where to actually start in your job search, and why your approaches may have been backfiring. So my big promise to you that by the end of this presentation, you'll know the action to take for you yourself to set yourself up for success in your job search, no matter where you are in this process. Okay, and who am I? Because, you know, not everybody might know me yet. I'm Erica. Hi. I'm Erica. I have a PhD in applied developmental psychology, which means I've spent a long time learning about how people grow and develop and what makes our brains really, really amazing and really cool at helping us, especially when it comes to job searching. Okay. I'm a certified coach, I'm a life coach, I'm a career coach. I do a lot of different things. And the idea of this all comes from the fact that I have had over 30 jobs myself. So I've seen all of this stuff pretty much firsthand. Plus, I've been a manager and I've hired people before and I've interviewed a lot of people in my career. So I come at it from a lot of different kind of backgrounds and experiences. All right, honestly, we're jumping right in. All right, so step 1, the first thing that you have to really kind of pay attention to when it comes to getting more job interviews is confidence level and finding your own confidence in it, what it is that you're trying to do here and what it is that you want. So let's jump in. We'll do just a tiny little exercise. You're welcome to put your answers into the chat or into the comments, or you're welcome to do it on your own. That is totally up to you, your choices. Okay, so right now, just think about the last job you applied for. If you can't remember exactly specifically what it was for or anything, it's okay. Just do your best. Think about the last job that you applied for. Okay, and now ask yourself, just on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is that not so confident, 10 is like, heck yeah. Okay. So the first question, how confident are you that you could do that job? Just simply think about it, 1 to 10. And then second question, how confident are you that you would want to do that job? Just a 1 to 10. Okay, so there are no right or wrong answers. There is nothing, there's no judgment, there's no anything about it. This is merely information for you. Okay? If you do have something that's less than an 8, it's just a flag. It's just a sign for you to think, okay, why? Why is it that number, whatever it is, if it was a 1 for either of them or a 10 for either of them. Why? Just what in the world is happening for you in particular? Okay. So generally, what's in your way? Still trying to find your calling, right? Totally fair, right? Makes complete sense, right? Do you maybe need to learn something new? Do you need to go back to the start, figure out what it is that I'm most interested in? Where are my skills? Okay. Do you need maybe an interim job, right? If you're going towards something in particular, I want to be a program manager, okay, but I haven't really worked on a program yet. Okay, maybe you just need an interim job where you're really working on the program, getting that experience, meeting some other program managers, making sure that it's the right fit. Maybe that's what you need, right? So maybe you need an interim job. Maybe what's getting in your way is just not having enough stories or examples to share on your resume that make you feel really confident, that make you feel like, oh, I could totally do this job. And maybe you need to do a little bit more research about what the position is so that you can be like, yes, I really want to be doing this job, right? What is a climate specialist in Bosnia? Is that something I want to do or not? Maybe you got to do some research and find out, right? What's wonderful and frustrating at the same time about job searching is it's deeply personal, right? And spending your time going through and really finding what feels true for you is going to be worth it, because all the energy you put into job searching and applying and interviewing and all that stuff, it starts with, is this what I want? Does this feel right in my body? So come back to that to help figure out what's really in your way. And then the other piece, once you've kind of done that internal work, is your confidence coming through? Like the people who are seeing your stuff, is it coming through? Could they look at it and say, yeah, he'd be really great for this role? How do you have your resume, or how do you get confidence to come through? It can be through your resume. It can be the bullet points that you're saying on your resume. As an outside reader, could I read the very first bullet point on your resume and say, yeah, he totally knows what he would do here. Or yeah, I could see him doing that, right? Like that's the kind of feeling you need to get into a hiring manager's entire being if you're going to get an interview. You have to get through what the hiring manager is feeling in that moment. You can do the same thing with your LinkedIn profile. Every line in your LinkedIn profile should be boosting you up and showing like, yeah, he'd be great at this, right? Yeah, he could totally translate from English to Spanish. Absolutely. It says it right here. He totally could. He's done it for this many people. He's done it for this long. He did it in this space. He felt really excited when he did it, right? So tell a story in your LinkedIn profile. Also, when you Google your own name, what comes up? If you haven't Googled your name in a while, do it, right? And if you have a name that's, you Google and you get lots of other people stuff, put your location as well, because that's what hiring managers are going to do. When they Google your name and there's too many, they can't figure out who it is, they put your location in because it helps whittle down, it helps them find the right person. So try it out, see what it is. From those Google results, is it clear what you want to do? Is it clear about the jobs you've had in the past? What is the presence that shows up for you when you Google your own name? Okay. And if you're not sure, or if it comes up and it's kind of like, it's a little bit of stuff from my high school, it's this random thing I was in, it's a obituary from someone else in my family from years and years and years ago, all true stories, right? Like it's fine, but you can build a bigger presence. You can build one that feels more in line for you. A stronger presence online, on YouTube, on your resume, on LinkedIn, on wherever, makes for an easy yes from the hiring manager. Okay, a yes meaning, yeah, I should reach out to this person and I should try to set up an interview. Right? That's what we're trying to do with your resume. That's what you're trying to do with your LinkedIn. Trying to make it really easy for them to say yes. Okay? So with all that being said, you can put external links into your documents. Okay? You can make a right like on the top where your name and contact information is, you can put in there a link to Linktree. Linktree is just a site where you get to put in a lot of different links, your LinkedIn profile, your email link, your link to a portfolio, or a link to your YouTube channel. If you have things that you want to present to people, make a video on YouTube and then put it in your Linktree, or just put the link right to your YouTube channel on your resume. If your YouTube channel is promoting your stuff professionally, that's how you build bigger presence. Now, when people Google your name, that channel can now show up and be like, oh, look, he makes some YouTube videos, right? If video makes you really worried, do a podcast, right? There are free podcast apps where you can create 1 episode, 2 episodes on a topic of interest. Okay? I would not suggest using these like podcasts or YouTubes to do your like hobby videos. If you want to do that and they're great, like go ahead, right? But just keep in mind the ones you want to send to a hiring manager should show that you'd be really good in this kind of a job. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going through. You can create free podcasts. I think there's Podbean, B-E-A-N, and you can create like 3 podcast episodes for free. Great, nice and easy. You can do it all from a smartphone. So there's so many things out there. Just think about for you, what other links can you put out there that would demonstrate you'd be a great candidate for the industry that you want to go into? Engaging their curiosity. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. What's the fuzziest animal that you can think of? So we are all humans, right? And we love to be entertained. So when you ask a question of someone, we answer it in our heads. Like we do, like it just happens. Like you'll notice this more and more. Like even when you're watching TV, when someone asks a question, you answer it in your head even before the actor says the next one, okay? So you can use this information to help you in your process, right? A link in your cover letter or in your resume that brings a hiring manager to your podcast episode could be really cool, right? Not many people are doing that. Not many people are engaging with the hiring manager or asking them, hey, go see something fun for a moment, right? Hey, take a break from reading these long block resumes and go see something cool. Maybe you create just a Google Drive that you share that has articles you've written or articles you've merely collected from online that are really specific to your industry or show that you're really interested in learning more, right? Whatever you want to promote to the hiring manager, I'm really detail oriented. Okay, so put something in a Google Drive that shows you're really detail oriented. I'm a really good team player. Okay, maybe you need a portfolio showing how you are a great team player. The portfolio can just be a PowerPoint presentation. You can make a portfolio of your previous work that you've done, samples that you've had, or events that you've hosted. Put them all in there. Make it something different for the hiring managers to look at so that they can get engaged. So sorry, I'm just getting over a sinus infection, so get it all through. So just take a moment now and think about what you might be able to do. Okay, just write it down. You'll have plenty of fears that jump up for you later, like, oh, I could never do a podcast because I'm not comfortable on the thing. I don't have the right tools. No one would listen. You're welcome to have all those fears later. It's fine. But for right now, just write out some ideas. Do a little brainstorming. What do you think would be fun to do to show yourself in a different light to a hiring manager? And if you need help with resources, like what's the podcast app or whatever, that's fine. You can send me a message or something and I'll share with you everything that I have, right? Okay, so again, just another quick reminder, just to say it because it's important. Anything you present to a hiring manager should be building their trust of you. Okay, so again, totally fine to share things that are not 100% perfect. You could share things as they're kind of in the middle of it, but just make sure it represents you well. So check for typos, make sure any links work. You want to have a friend go through and test it out for you first, make sure everything is okay. Double check that you hit save, right? Those kinds of things, just so that you're presenting yourself in a way that you're proud of. But then like just get out there and, you know, who knows, see what happens. All of these things build your own confidence. When you say, oh, actually, I have a whole PowerPoint on why I would be a great hiring manager myself. Let me show you. And that helps you speak so much more confidently because the work that you go through to make that PowerPoint serves you well in being able to talk about it in an interview. Okay, so step number 2. You have to know your why, right? Have you ever heard that phrase before, know your why? It takes a few moments to like honestly consider, why am I thinking about applying for this job? Why am I applying to this company? Or even why am I applying in this field or this industry? So I encourage you to just get silent and try to hear your own answers. So we'll do it together. Let's jump in. We'll do another exercise right now. Oh, excuse me. You can write down your answers, say them silently in your mind, write them in the chat or in the comments, whatever feels right to you. But we're going to just do this little exercise. So you're comfortable in your seat. Take a deep breath. Let it out. One more. Okay. So in your mind, just think about the industry or the field that you want to work in. If you're not entirely clear, just pick one for this particular exercise. You can watch the replay and do it again later with another industry if you'd like. But take another deep breath and think about the industry or the field that you're wanting to work in. So just try to listen and see what comes up. Don't judge it, just listen. So why do you want to work in this field? Why do you want to work in this field? Okay, number 2. Why is it important to you, this industry that you've chosen? Why is it important to you, this industry that you've chosen? Okay, number 3. Why are you a great fit to work in this industry? Just keep in mind, you don't need to bash yourself or be mean to yourself in this moment. This moment is find the positives. Why are you a great fit to work in this industry? Okay, and then number 4. Why is this the industry you've chosen over every other industry out there? So again, why is this industry the one that you've chosen over every other industry that's out there? Okay, so take that information and just let it be, right? You've gotten some information for yourself. You've gotten some kind of personal understanding of what it is that's drawing you to this particular industry. Okay. You can then also decide, how does this feel, right? Does this feel energizing? Does this feel like, oh my gosh, why did I pick this, right? Like you can feel your own body and see, oh, I'm so sorry. What is it? What does your body say as you're going through and doing this exercise? Okay. It might feel really great and it might feel not so great and it might feel in the middle, but no matter what, it's just information. There's no judgment attached. There's no anything at all. It's just information for you. Okay. I highly encourage you to come back and answer these questions again. I encourage you to come back to it often. Feel free to do these again with a different industry and see if you get different reactions and feelings. Okay. Especially question number 3, why are you a great fit? What a wonderful one to start practicing for actual interviews anyway, because most of the questions are around that topic anyway. So the more time you spend in that question, the more information and stories you'll have to share when you're actually in the interview too. All right, so applications honestly tend to fall in about 5 categories. There are a few that are outside these 5, but for this moment in time, these are the 5 we're going to talk about right now. Okay. Now, I've chosen these 5 because these are what I see mostly with my clients. And so I think that they're the best ones to kind of wrap your head around what's going on. And again, if you have one that falls into something else or it's a little fuzzy between the two, that's okay. Life is complicated. It's okay. Oh my goodness, come on. Body, we can do it. I know we can. Okay, so types of applications. Number 1 tends to be aspirational. People are applying to companies or positions that they would love to work with, right? Like think about a company and you're like, if they would just hire me, that would be awesome, right? Lots of people in tech like to think about, like Amazon. If Amazon hired me to do their web stuff, or Google hired me, or Twitter hired me, like people have these big company ones, these kind of aspirational. I also see it in social impact, like, if I could work for the UN, or if I could work for the World Wildlife Foundation. Okay? And I also see it in like local, like, I drive through this place, I drive by this building every day, and what it would feel like to work there. Okay, so that's aspirational applications. No matter where you are in your job search, please at least do one of these, at least once, right? I would encourage more if it feels right to you, but at least do one. We all have some kind of aspirational things. It feels so good to do these when you're in the right mindset for it. So highly encouraged. Okay, stretch jobs. That's the second category. A stretch job is one where you're not 100% qualified, but you could totally learn what to do on the job if you were given the chance. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to put this cough drop in, which makes sound a little funny, but hopefully I'll stop coughing on you. Okay. Okay, so stretch jobs, again, maybe not 100% qualified. Maybe there's a big skill or something that you're like, I don't totally know how to do that. But I got Google, I got YouTube, like I could learn it. It would be fine. And so these are jobs that you apply to because they would be a stretch for you. It would stretch your learning, and it would stretch the things that you are experiencing as well. It would maybe give you brand new skills, something that would feel new and different and challenging. Okay, number 3, inline applications. So these are typically the ones where you are applying for a position that's pretty much the same for what you have right now, or what you had last time at your last company. This is typically for people who are not looking to change their job title. They like their job title. They like the tasks that are associated with their job, but the company that they're with maybe isn't a fit anymore, or they're moving and they can no longer work where they were before, or the company had a bunch of layoffs and now they don't have their job anymore, but they're looking to get another job that's kind of in line with the position that they just had. There's one called It's There, right? So people apply for the job because it's there and you could do it and it would be fine or not fine, but we apply because it's there. Lots of times this is the like easy apply on LinkedIn button, right? Easy apply, and just try to send it because it's there. Sometimes people put a lot of thought into these and sometimes people don't, and it's fine. There's, again, no judgment, there's no wrong applications, but it's just another category for you to know about when it comes to applying for jobs. Okay. And then there's overqualified, where you're applying for a job where you are quite overqualified, but maybe you just need out. Maybe you just need to switch. You need to get out of your current position. Whatever it might be, it's just, I'm overqualified, I'm going to apply anyway. Okay. And maybe it's because you've been doing stuff. This happens a lot to managers. They were doing the job they liked, everything was good. I got into the manager position and they're no longer doing the work they liked, and they're managing people all the time, but they don't really like managing people all the time. So maybe they then apply for a job going back to using the tasks that they were doing. Maybe it's a pay cut or something. It doesn't have to be, but maybe there's a pay cut. And now they are definitely overqualified for that job, but maybe that's the one that they really want. So again, there's no judgment or anything like that. These are just merely different categories and different areas that applications tend to fall into. It's really good to know where your job falls when you are applying. Okay. It's also really good to know for you to think about, have I only been applying to It's There jobs? Or have I only been applying to aspirational jobs? Right? Again, no judgment, no anything like that. But knowledge is going to help you so much. Some people like to make Excel sheets where they track in, okay, I'm going to apply to this one at Liberty Mutual, and for me, this is a stretch job. Or I'm going to apply to this job at Liberty Mutual, and I'm overqualified. Or I'm going to apply to Liberty Mutual, and for me, it's their job. Okay? Whatever it is, it's fine. Just track it. And a really good way to know your why and to understand what it really is happening is, how do you want to divide your time? Because every application, even the easy apply ones, is your time, it's your energy. So how do you want to divide that? It's really helpful for you to go through and just put some percentages down, right? If you think about your week or your month or whatever, depending on how quickly you are submitting job applications, in a month, what percentage do you want your job applications to fall into the aspirational category? What percentage into stretch? What percentage into inline? What percentage into it's there? What percentage into overqualified? Okay. If one of these categories don't feel right to you for whatever reason, okay, you don't have to put anything into any category at all. If you're at a point where you're feeling really comfortable, really happy at the job you're at right now, and you really only want to put your energy into stretch and aspirational ones, go for it. Okay? But if you're not necessarily there, that's okay too, right? If you loved your job, but for whatever reason you don't have it right now and you just want to apply for the same kind of job doing the same tasks, then maybe inline is really where you want to spend most of your energy. Okay, so go ahead right now, as I'm talking, write in a percentage of how you would like to spend your time and energy, knowing that you can always go back and change this, knowing that you can look at it, do it for a week, and then rearrange, knowing that you can do it, write out your plan, and then come around and see, I couldn't even find so many jobs in my inline category. I need to mix up my strategy. Okay, great. That is more information for you. That's what we're trying to do, is get you good, clear information. Now, as a general guide, it is totally fine and really wonderful to lean into jobs that make you feel excited. Okay, if you can, like in step number one, you feel confident about applying, you feel confident you can land it, confident that you want to do it, even if you're like 80% confident, then go for it. Just apply. Do your best job of applying to get yourself positioned into it. That could work out really well for you, right? It's also just super important to figure out where you are personally and what it is you're looking for. When I was in a job where I was really, really burnt out, I could never see myself working for an aspirational company. Like, the idea of that would never land for me, right? I had way too many heavy thoughts going on. I had limiting beliefs up the wazoo, and I felt all the time that I was not good enough. So the idea of even applying to an aspirational company, I would have laughed and been like, there's not a chance. No one's going to hire me. I feel so bad. I can't do this. I'm bad at this. It's like, when you're feeling like that, it's okay. So aspirational would be like the things you're trying to go for. Like, if you had like this dream company in mind, something that is like, you'd be like, oh, I would love to work there. That would be so exciting. That would be what you would consider into that category. Okay. When I was in other jobs where I was feeling, okay, things are fine, or I had a transition out of the job because of a life transition or a move, or when school ended and I needed to move to another job, it was so much easier to see myself working at a company that I really loved and I really admired. And I was like, oh, I could totally do this. So your mindset really makes a difference into how you're going to categorize your time, which is why it's so personalized. I can't tell you this percentage here, this percentage there. Like, you get to decide that and what feels right to you. And just one more important piece for this one in particular is, the more clear you are about the applications you're deciding to submit, it's going to help you with your internals, your mindset, your feelings of, like, a lot of times when we apply, we have feelings of like resentment, like, I can't believe this, or hiring managers never get back to me, I never hear back, or they they're ghosting me, or they called me and asked me for something and then they never got back. Like, we can have some pretty heavy feelings during this job search process. And oh my gosh, in this market right now, like, it's a lot of feelings of resentment. So if you know, okay, I've applied to this many aspirational, this many inline, this many overqualified, it helps you to put them into a category and realize it's not everyone ghosting me, right? Maybe I'm particularly getting ghosted by my overqualified, or maybe I'm particularly getting ghosted by my aspirational. What does that mean? Why is that happening? Maybe you just need to present yourself in a different way. Okay. It can also help you with managing energy. It encourages you to follow through on submitting applications because you're like, I got to get 3 of these done this month. Okay. And it can open up your own particular interest to sharing with other people that you're looking for a new job, okay? Which leads into step 3. Okay, step number 3, maximize your chances of being seen, okay? So very, very much about this particular process has everything to do with being seen. Okay, which can be really, really scary and uncomfortable if you're not excited about your job search. Okay, which is what I see, I don't know, maybe the number 1 or 2 thing that people come to me with ultimately is fear of being seen, right? We put ourselves out there, and every time you put yourself out there, you might be setting yourself up for failure. And that doesn't feel really good. We don't really want that, right? And so we wind up not getting ourselves seen because we're kind of afraid of feeling rejected. I totally get it. It's totally okay. However, you want that job, let's work on getting you seen in ways that don't creep you out and make you feel really uncomfortable. Okay, so these are the 4 main areas that you can really focus on right away to increase your chances of being seen. So I'm going to go through each of these in more detail. I'm not going to spend a million hours on each one of them because what I try to put in is stuff that you can make changes in really, really quickly. So feel free to write stuff down if you'd like to, or there will be a replay sent out to anyone who sends me their email address. So let me know and I'll send it out to you so you have it. Okay, so we're going to go through the ATS first. ATS is the applicant tracking system. Some people talk about it like it's the robot that reads your resume before the hiring manager reads your resume. If you're applying through a job site or even like filling out an application online, most companies nowadays use this to kind of track their, like, you send your resume in, it scans it for them, and it gives you a ranking of how good you match the job description that's in there. So you just take that, they take that information, and then they filter in who matches the job description best, who does not match it very well, right? And then they give you a scoring and they rank you in a database so that they can get you all the information. Okay. So with that being said, there are a couple of ways you can optimize your resume so that the ATS scans your resume and gives you a higher score, okay? Where you're applying matters, the kind of company you're applying to matters, but the job description matters so much. You really want to make your resume match the job description that you're applying for. With all of that being said, if you don't do these basic fundamentals, it doesn't matter how good your resume is. It doesn't matter how good your bullet points are, how powerful they are. Your resume won't get in front of a human being. So let me show you some of the really basic foundational things. You can change all of these today, and I highly recommend that you do. Okay, I'm going to go through them really quickly. If you have questions on them, please feel free to put them in the chat or in the comments. I'll definitely get back to you. And if something seems outdated or you have new information, feel free to share. Okay. One more piece that I do want to say right before we go into them, and I get you distracted by looking at the next slide. There is not one singular ATS, applicant tracking system. Each company uses their own. There are a few different software companies who make ATS systems that companies purchase and then they use. So what works in one ATS system might not work in another. And that's okay. It's totally okay, because you won't necessarily always know. Sometimes you can tell which ATS they use, but for the most part, these rules work in the majority of ATS systems. And hopefully one day they will be so smart, none of these will matter at all. We're just not there right now. So let's give you a boost and let's get you really what you need. Okay. Number one tip. Majority of resumes are now open on mobile. Hiring managers often open up the resumes that they get on a phone. Okay, it would be awesome if everyone could sit at their computer and go through and have a nice organized time to read through resumes. But most of the times they're scrolling through resumes on their phone while they're empty out the dishwasher, somebody's talking next to them. Like, this is just real life. So open your resume on your phone right now. Do you even know how to send your resume to yourself right now? If someone said, oh, I think you'd be great for this job, send me your resume. Could you easily send them your resume and have it open up on their phone in a really nice looking format? Okay. If not, get on YouTube, teach yourself how to do it. It's really important. Okay? You want to be able to take advantage of any opportunity that comes your way. You never know who you're going to meet in the grocery store checkout line, who you're going to be standing behind in the line for a concert, right? Open your resume on your phone, make sure it opens up okay. Anything that doesn't open up okay, you can make edits to. Okay, number 2. Your resume should be boring in terms of graphics, okay? A lot of ATS systems cannot handle things that are complicated or out of the norm. Use regular circle bullet points. Don't put the fancy stuff in there. It looks really cool to a human reader, but if the ATS won't scan it and get you through, you're never going to get in front of that human reader. So make it boring. Don't put graphs in. Don't put fun charts in there, right? You can save all that information into a resume that you print out and carry with you to an interview, or that you have as a PDF that you can then email the hiring manager after you've said, yes, I would like to accept your interview. You can say, I have a version of my resume that gives you even more information than the previous one that I submitted. Here you go. That is far more likely to be opened by a human, and it'll be in a PDF. It'll be beautiful to look at. Use all that information in that format. But first off, keep it boring. Okay. Okay, next up. Number 3, your font matters, right? It matters for the ATS because they can't handle different fonts. Most of them really struggle and put in weird lines and extra arrows and mess with all the fonts or formatting and everything. So pay attention to the fonts that you're using. Okay? Times New Roman is not the ideal font to use. Use some kind of Open Sans, use Calibri. If you don't like either of those, just Google good fonts for ATS resume and you'll get a whole list of them. Pick one that feels good to you, one that you would like, one that you feel confident having your resume out there for, okay? There's another piece to the psychological side of it, whereas Open Sans and Calibri are really easy to read on a computer screen. It's easier for our adorable human eyes to read on a screen those particular fonts, okay? Times New Roman on a computer screen is uncomfortable to read. It doesn't feel good. You'll try it out and you'll see like it's not comfortable. Now, if you were to print out a resume, Times New Roman actually is really nice. That's a really nice printed font, which is where it kind of started from. Okay, but on a computer, not so great. So again, if you are going to print out a resume and bring it somewhere, feel free to use Times New Roman. Like, humans like that. Okay, but if you're going to send something on a computer screen, please use a font that's optimized for computer screen reading. Okay, number 4. Use Microsoft Word. Don't use Google Docs. Okay, as much as that hurts me because I love a good Google Doc, Google Docs don't get submitted as well to the ATS yet as Microsoft Word documents do. So get Microsoft Word. That means you have to pay for it. Pay for it. How much do you want this job, right? Do you want a new job? Ask for a salary bump of $500. You'll make up all your money back that you paid for Microsoft Word. I don't know how much it costs, but more than $500, that would surprise me. So please do what you have to do to get yourself seen in front of human readers. Okay? Submit Microsoft Word files, the .doc or like you submit those to an ATS. But if you're going to submit directly to a human reader, then you can submit PDFs. PDFs are getting better and better at going through the ATS, but they still sometimes won't grab all the information. If you've ever applied and submitted your resume first, and then you get the application, you have to refill things in, that's the indicator that ATS isn't picking it up for you. And another good measure for yourself is if you submit your resume first and it tries to auto-populate your application and there are mistakes, that is a huge ding, 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 ding. Something is not translating well from your resume into the ATS. So take action and fix that for your next application. That's brand information right there for free. If it doesn't work for one, it's probably not working for the other ones either. Okay. Okay, headers and footers disappear. And so this means like when you're in the Word document and you like double click on the top and a header shows up or a footer shows up, don't put information there, especially not your name and your contact information. Don't put it in that section. It disappears, okay? Which makes it really hard for hiring managers when they go to pull up resumes later and want to have it ready for your interview. All your stuff gets disappeared. So just don't double click where it says header, like just type in the body of the Word document, put your contact information up top like you normally would, then your bullet points, your experience, your education, all that stuff. Just don't put in a header and footer. And margins, again, 1-inch margins on all sides. Don't make it any skinnier. People sometimes make it skinnier so that they can get more information or can get it all into one page and all these pieces. Don't do that. Please don't do that, because it just, again, it disappears and it messes with all the fonts and the formatting, and then the ATS has no idea what's going on. Okay? This is not the default on many, many applications. You have to go back and change it each time. So pay attention to it. Make yourself a checklist of things to make sure I did this, I did this, I did this. Use these 6 things as your base for what your checklist is. Make sure that your information gets seen by the hiring managers. Okay, there are a lot of other tips and things out there. I feel like these are the 6 biggest heavy hitters that you can do immediately. There are a lot more. So if you want to get more specialized in what you're doing, you can Google it. You can also use jobscan.com .com or .co, either way, JobScan, you'll find it. You get like 5 free scans right now at the time of this recording, where you can scan your resume along with a job description, and it gives you feedback and it lets you know how you're doing. It lets you know how generally ATS systems will read your resume. Use it. Oh my gosh, use it, right? And if ultimately you need more scans, pay for the software, right? Like, again, it will serve you well to spend some money on this issue right now if it means you're getting your resume in a really good spot. Okay, there are a lot of other resources out there too. I just really like JobScan. I'm not affiliated or anything. I just really like them. Okay, I'm going to keep going, but if you have more questions about ATS and things like that, message me. It's Erica at jobburnoutlifecoach.com, and I will happily help you answer questions that you have. Okay, moving on. Pitch yourself. Okay, pitching yourself means standing out. Again, we want you to stand out as much as possible to hiring managers. They need to know how amazing you are. Okay, so what does this mean? It means you can absolutely apply for jobs, apply through Indeed and LinkedIn and all that stuff. But also, if there's a company you really want to work for, send an email. Send a message to the person you think would be hiring for these jobs. You have the whole internet. You can find out most of the time who to reach out to, or someone who's pretty close to being the right person that you can reach out to. Send them an email. Tell them why you're so amazing. Tell them why you want to work there. Attach your resume. Say, I'd love to chat, right? I'd love to help your company somehow. Let me know what I can do for you. Okay? You could pitch yourself through a 2-minute video, right? Make a 2-minute video on YouTube. Keep it unlisted, okay? Or private, or however it makes it so nobody else can see it, right? Make your 2-minute video, put it up on there, write an email to the hiring manager, say, I made this really short video for you about why I would love to work for your company. They can click on the video and they can watch it, and it could be a 2-minute, here I am, this is my background, I would love to work with your company because of this, here's the value I would bring to you, I'd love to connect. You're going to stand out so much compared to everybody else who's not doing these things. There's a platform called crash.io. They are in a bit of a name change right now, but I think that website should still work for quite a while longer. whenever it updates, I'll make an update in the comments in the description here. Okay, but use crash.io. They have a platform where you can pitch yourself and have it hosts the videos for you. They also have a ton of blogs and articles that have great advice. Again, I'm not affiliated with them. I just really like them. Their daily newsletter, so good. So I would highly suggest signing up for that as well. It can really get your mindset in the right spot for applying to jobs and for, you know, really making yourself stand out in really healthy and strong, wonderful ways. Okay. You can also complete a short project for the company, right? Do you notice something? Are you a copywriter and you notice that their page is not so wonderfully optimized? Okay, write out a new version. Say, hey, I tried to put this together. I wonder if something like this would help you have more customers convert into paying clients, right? I put together this sample of what I could write for you. I would love a chance to talk with you and see about how my skills could be used in this format. You can also create a portfolio, right? Grab a Google Slides, grab PowerPoint, and make yourself a portfolio. Okay? It doesn't have to be anything ginormous or elaborate. It doesn't have to be graphically anything too much or anything. So just take a breath and think about, what could I present that I've done before that I could present to a hiring manager and say, this is why I would be so good. This is the value I would bring your company. This is how I would make your job easier. Those are the real questions hiring managers have. How does my life get easier by hiring this person? Put something together and pitch yourself to say why their life would be easier if they hired you. Okay. Again, we can talk about pitching for forever, so I'm going to cap it right here to kind of keep us on time. But again, any questions about it, let me know. Lots of people come up with fears. Oh, I could never do this. I don't know the technology. This is overwhelming. No one would want to watch it. I look bad on camera. My voice is funny. My complexion is weird. I don't have a good background. None of it matters, my friends. None of it matters. If you would like to work through some of those things that are keeping you stuck, that's what coaches do. So hire a coach. I'm here and I'm available. Feel free to reach out to me. Don't want to work with me, that's fine. Find somebody else. But like, lots of people can help you with that. And they can help you very, very quickly to move through some of those fears and blocks that you have so that you can keep going on this job search process in a way that feels really good and aligned with you. Okay, let me keep going so that we stay on time. There are a bunch of other platforms besides Indeed and LinkedIn, Craigslist, and kind of the big heavy hitters, okay? Use them. This is a tiny sampling, okay? I send my clients a long list of other platforms they can use to find jobs, okay? Powerfly is like a dream job kind of website. I'm not going to read them all out. You guys can see them. There's No Desk, there's We Work Remotely, Ladder is like FlexJobs is a paid subscription, but I don't know, depending on what kinds of jobs you're looking for, it might be a really nice fit for you. If you're in Canada, sometimes there's not as many options as compared to if you live in the United States. So just hold on to that. But you can always try it and see what you think. If you don't like it, okay, it's not that big of an investment for most of the things that you're going for, especially if you're asking for a salary bump. You make your money back when you get that next job. Okay, there are a bunch of them here. You can also Google job search platforms for HR, job search platforms for tech, job search platforms for communication specialists, job search platforms for teachers. Like, if you want to be a teacher, there are so many specialized job boards out there. Don't even waste your time on the big ones. Like, niche down, find what it is that you really want, and you'll have a much easier time finding those kinds of jobs. Another really important piece to say here, not exactly a platform, but there's a job that you want to, there's a company you want to work at, go to the company website, go to the bottom of their page, click careers, and see what careers they have open. If they have something that's in line with what you want to be doing, apply. If they don't, send the hiring manager, send someone at the company, even if it's just their info email address. You would like to work for this company. This is an aspirational company for me. I would like to do it. Here's my pitch video. And see what happens. You never know what's going to come out for it. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going. real humans. Okay. I'm gonna let that sit for a second. You can use real humans to get your next job as well. Okay. You can use your network, people you know, people you've met, people you've talked to before, people you've emailed before, people you know on social media. You can tell them what you're looking for. You can ask them if they know anyone. You can ask them if they have a job. In my experience, rarely is it the person you know who has a job for you. Normally, they know someone who has a job. And that tends to be how people find jobs, through networking. It's rarely the person you're speaking to. They typically know someone else who knows about a job. Okay, so keep that in mind. You don't have to say, hey, best friend, you got a job for me? I mean, you can. I don't know, maybe they have a job for you. But you don't have to. You can think about, hey, best friend, do you know anyone who's hiring project managers right now? Let them think through. Let them pay attention to their own LinkedIn feed for the next few days. You never know what you're going to find. If you start sending it out there in the universe, you might really get some good stuff coming back at you. Okay. Use your network's network. You can do that through LinkedIn as well. What are people commenting on? Click those people's profiles. Are they a match for you? Maybe that's someone you could reach out to. There are so many companies out there. Use LinkedIn to find out new companies. Go through the extra steps of reading about their mission. What is it that they do? What kinds of work do they have available right now? Is it a fit for you? Okay, feel free to expand your thinking on these pieces. LinkedIn is good for so many things. I've recently started following some brand new hashtags. My feed is so different than it was last month because I started following some new hashtags. I started following some new people. I see so many more job opportunities now than I ever have before. So don't hesitate to follow people. Don't hesitate to connect with someone, even if you only have a little bit of things in common. You never know where this conversation is going to start. If you haven't been using LinkedIn in those ways, is it because you didn't know all this stuff? Okay, now you know, now you can go for it. Is it because you're fearful of reaching out? You're fearful about what people are going to think about you, or what does it mean for someone to randomly reach out on LinkedIn, or you feel like they're never going to get back to you, or they're going to think bad things about you? Now you're back into those thoughts that kind of keep you stuck again. Okay. Again, those are the things a coach can help with. Those are the things that journaling can help you with. You can go through guided meditation and it can help work through a lot of those pieces. So if that's what's getting you stuck, put your energy there. Okay. It's okay to do the scary things as long as they're physically, mentally, and emotionally safe for you. Even if they're a little bit scary, it's okay to do them. But if it's hard to do them, get some help, get some support. People are here to help you with that. Okay. And the last one for right now, your local community. Like, honestly, most people forget to go into the local community. It's even worse now post-pandemic because we haven't been out of our homes very much, right? Like, there are so many places in your local community that are hiring that you can go to, you can learn about, you can ask questions of. Just take a breath, try to expand your mind, pull up the yellow pages online and see what's in your area. You never know. You can also use your local platforms like Nextdoor or Craigslist. Sometimes they have city-specific job boards. Look on there, right? It's fine. Use what's out there. You can post a really cool one-pager about who you are, the jobs you're seeking, and stuff like that. Hang it up on a flyer in a coffee shop. Again, you never know who's going to be walking by and see that. Encourage them to take a picture of your flyer and then reach out to you. Okay? Especially if you have a cool link or even a QR code. I mean, I love the idea, like, you print a flyer out, who you are, what you're looking for, you have your QR code, right? When people walk into the coffee shop, they can scan it and they can look at your resume on your phone, on their phone, as they're waiting for coffee, right? They're not doing anything else, so they might as well. Like, it can be so easy for you to get yourself out there, for people to know that you exist and know that you're looking for a job. Okay? If you don't want your current employer to know that you're looking for a job, that might not be the way to go. But maybe it is. Maybe it opens up a conversation for why do you want to leave? If it's not, you're not making enough money, maybe it's a conversation now about salary. Okay. Do what feels right for you in the scenario that you have. Okay, so that's a ton of information. Questions, just let me know. Okay, let's get into step 4. Okay, step 4, get support. Okay. Job searching winds up being really, really personal for a lot of people, especially in this particular job market where we are right now. So getting support really might be in your best interest, especially if you've been doing this by yourself for some time now. Let's go through and ask some questions, and I want you to really try to answer them and to really feel like try to find the truth for what's going on. Okay. So what's really getting in your way? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it pets? Is it opportunities? Is it education? Is it a dumb boss? What is it? Go a little deeper. What's really getting in your way landing your next interview? Okay. Now go a little bit deeper. What's really getting in your way of landing your next interview? Okay. If you're comfortable, please feel free to put your answers into the chat or into the comments. If that's something you want to hold on to yourself, that's okay too. What's really, really getting in your way? Okay, I'm going to move on to the second question. If you're watching the replay, please feel free to pause. Take as much time as you need to answer this question. What would you need in order for this to feel easy? What would you need in order to make this feel easy? And by this, it can be your job search. It can be landing an interview. It can be figuring out your true calling. What would you need in order for this to feel easy? Easy, with ease, in flow, without struggle, without adding a million more things onto your plate. What would you need to make this feel easy? And with that, where can you find it? Okay. Next question. Who do you already know that can support you? Who do you know already that can support you? This can be in real life. This can be over social media. This can be an agency. This could be me. I don't know. This could be partner, family, smart kid in your life. Who do you already know that can support you? Depending on what's in your way will be directly related to who you could support you. If confidence was your problem, maybe you need a confidence coach. Okay. If finances is a problem, maybe you need an interim job. If mindset's an issue, maybe you need to talk to somebody. If depression is an issue, maybe therapy would help. If you don't have the technology, maybe you can borrow some from a friend. If you don't know your next step, maybe a job search industry would help. Don't know where to start, maybe a job fair would help. Get a bunch of ideas, talk to new people. Okay? Whatever it is, think about who do you already know that can support you. As a wonderful caveat, if you don't actually know anyone right now who can help you feel supported in this, you got Google. You found this, you found us right now, right? find who you need. Just start searching. And if that's not helpful, like send me a message. I will see if I can help you find someone too. Okay, let me know your kind of parameters and what you're looking for. Send me a message. Okay. When you go at this job search stuff alone, you tend to do yourself a disservice, honestly. There's just only so much information that you can learn by reading and by pulling books from the library, especially if you're feeling that kind of exhausted, overwhelmed, anxious, desperate for a callback kinds of moments. Okay. But getting real support, friends, family members, your friends' family members, experts with bigger pictures perspective, these are directly related to you hearing back on things or things remaining the same. It often requires tiny little adjustments to make ginormous changes in your life. So I want you to think, really, what is your next tiny adjustment that you need to take to move things forward for you? So I want to start right now. I want to know what questions are kind of coming up for you. And what do you need to know to take your own next step forward? Okay, because this is your takeaway. This is your moment in this presentation for you to find out exactly what you want to do next. Okay. Often, these are not ginormous, huge steps. I have to quit my job and go get a PhD in communications. Okay, I mean, maybe, but often your next step is much, much smaller. It's tiny. Maybe if that's really what you want to work towards, maybe your next step is not quitting your job. Maybe your next step is Googling PhD programs in communications at schools near me or schools online. Maybe it's learning what the tuition is. Maybe it's learning other people have done with a PhD in communications. Maybe it's going to your aspirational company's website, looking at their careers and finding a job description you want to work towards. And maybe that's all the step is for you. Maybe your next step really is creating that chart. How many companies am I going to apply to in each of these categories? How many aspirational? How many it's there? Okay. I have provided, I don't know, a lot of tips and strategies and practical things you can do, places you can go, stuff that's for you, stuff that maybe isn't for you. And that's totally okay. Pick one single thing that has shown up in this presentation that was like, for you, it's like, or, ooh, pick one of those things and direct your energy there. I want you to pick a next step that is tiny, so small, it's not going to activate your fight or flight response. Meaning, I want to pitch myself, but I have nothing to pitch myself with. Okay. So for you, maybe the YouTube video feels really good. I'd like to do that. Okay. I'm going to create a 15-minute YouTube video. Well, that is too big, my friends. And that is okay. What comes before filming a 15-minute YouTube video? Maybe it's setting up a YouTube channel account. Okay. And maybe it's testing out the camera on your phone and cleaning the little camera lens with a wet wipe. Right? Get yourself ready for these things, because once you get a little bit of momentum, it goes so much faster once you get going. You might run into little roadblocks here and there. You can deal with them. You can help dealing with them. You can find a coach to help you deal with them, whatever feels right to you for that moment. Okay? But use that then to really take that next step forward. And you have made it through this entire presentation. Don't cut yourself short by being like, yeah, I'll figure it out later. Right now, take a moment, pick something that you're going to do today or tomorrow. Don't let it leak beyond that. Today or tomorrow, what's the next tiniest step you can take towards moving yourself forward to landing more job interviews? I'm gonna sit here quietly for just a few seconds so you can write it down somewhere, piece of paper, napkin, your hand, your forehead, whatever. You can write it down and commit to yourself that I'm going to do this thing. You got this. You're amazing. You're going to do it. Put it in the chat or in the comments and like affirm it. Say, yes, I'm going to do this, because there is a ton of psychological power in that. So go ahead and do that. Okay, now I'm going to open it up to question and answers as well. So what questions came up for you as we went through this presentation? Okay, how do you define aspirational companies? Okay, I define them as places you would love to work, right? And just use that as your general category. Someplace I would love to work. Maybe it's because the culture is really good, or you've heard good things about them on the internet. Maybe a news story came through and they're doing good work. Maybe you love pandas and they save the pandas. Whatever it is, what would aspirational for you is what kind of company would you love to work in? Yeah, confidence is absolutely one-to-one related with you actually putting resumes out there, with you actually following through on applications. There is an energetic piece to feeling really confident as you are putting your resume together. When you have a really confident resume, the person reading it on the other side can feel that as well. And you can test that out. Like, you can send your resume to other people, right? You can send it to a friend. You can send it to, someone who's kind of like a friend and kind of nice to you, right? Send it to them and ask them, what's the impact you get from looking at my resume? And most people will be very honest. It's kind of long. I'm not really totally sure what it is you're applying for here. What kind of job did you want again? It's so easy for us to think our resume is incredibly clear because we know all the background behind every bullet point. But often if you give it to someone else to read, they have no idea what it is you're trying to actually apply for. Okay? We have another resume series, one coming up soon. So you can keep an eye on Eventbrite, keep an eye on YouTube. We're going to have a resume event coming up as well. So I'll go into more detail about how to actually craft your resume compared to a job description to get the job that you actually want, which will make your resume really clear. But overall, that your confidence in your bullet points, if you were in an interview and you were like, and they said, oh, tell me about this line. And if you'd be like, oh, yes, let me tell you about that. That's how you should feel about every bullet point on your resume. Okay. And if you don't feel that way yet, that's okay. Spend some time doing that. If you're having a hard time figuring out how to make that emotion come up for you in your resume, get a career coach or something. Don't get a resume writer who's going to write it for you, because then you won't have that same kind of emotional pull to it. But find someone who will work with you to pull the stories out of you that need to go into your resume, because then you'll have those to draw on and elaborate on when you get to the interview. Okay, perfect. So we are at the time. So I'm going to say goodbye for everyone right now, but please follow up. Send me emails, send me whatever you need to send so that you can get whatever you need out of this. Feel free to keep putting posts into the comments. I'll be checking those in the next few days. And then the Eventbrite events will also be listed. We have the resume one coming up really soon as well. If you are looking for a career coach and you are looking for someone who kind of help you in this, in the nitty gritty of it, or in the mindset piece, I offer sessions all the time. I have a free discovery session for anyone who wants to check out, make sure we're the right fit, ask whatever questions you have. Feel free to go to my website, it's jobburnoutlifecoach.com, and you'll be able to see everything I offer, as well as how to get in contact with me and get a slot on my schedule. Depending on when you are watching this video, summer is coming up. My schedule is getting booked really, really quickly. So I just say, please don't hesitate to get onto my schedule if you are interested in doing that right now. Come September, it opens up a little bit more. But if you don't want to wait till September, like, try to jump on there now. And if for whatever reason our schedules don't match and you're not quite sure where to find another coach, let me know that too, and I can help you connect with other coaches who are doing really great work and who are really working on the things that you're working towards as well. Okay, thank you all so much. I'm so glad you were here. I'm so glad we were able to do this today. I've had a really wonderful time. I just thank you all so, so very much. Any questions at all, please let me know. I'm Erica, and I will see you soon.